Today, I'm going to be doing a review of 3 of my subscribers' websites where I'm going to be diving in, looking at their websites and giving some feedback on ways that I think that they can improve and get more conversions on their website. Now, all of these people gave me permission to utilize their website as an example for my YouTube channel, and I really want to thank them so much because I think it will help not only them to get a little bit of feedback and ways to improve, but also for you as well watching if you're looking for ways to improve your Shopify store for your candle business as well. If you're new here, my name is Erica and I have my own small candle business called Memory Box Candle Co. And I've had my own Shopify store for the last 5 years. I got started on Etsy and then about a year into business, I launched my Shopify store and I've had about 3 or 4 revisions since then, just trying to do better and better every single time. And in case you're curious to know what my Shopify looks like right now, I'll have it linked down below. So let's jump right into the first review. So here is the first website here that was submitted. So it is whiskeyriverangel.com. So first and foremost, what I see is a big prominent logo right here. I see a very cohesive color palette, a very prominent vibe going on right here. So a more rustic, masculine vibe. And what I'm also really liking about this, let me click on one of the product listings, is I do like the product description. I think that it gives a good understanding and a good indication to the customer what exactly they're gonna be getting. It's got all the scent notes, it has the sizes, it has burn time, it has pretty much everything that the customer is gonna want to know before making a purchase. And then I do have a few recommendations on how to improve the overall user experience on your website. So in terms of when you're actually on the candle product page and you're scrolling down, this top section right here is actually pretty large and it kind of interferes with the customer looking at the product itself. And I think it's because the logo is pretty big. Now I know that when you scroll down a little bit, it does get down in size a little bit more, but it's still, it still takes up almost half. It's a little over a third of the page that's taken up with this top section right here. So I think that if you take down the size of the logo, it should help it not kind of come down so far. I think there may be also ways that you could adjust it to where it actually doesn't come down, just because you really want your customers to be able to see your product. Now, in terms of the product photography and the listing photos that you have, this main one that you have reads to me more as a secondary photo or maybe a third photo. I would actually recommend to have this one right here as your main photo. And if you can lighten up the background, that would probably be better as well, just because your candles are matte black, so they would pop a lot more if the background was just a little bit lighter. Even though your vibe is more of that darker kind of rustic vibe, if you lighten it up just a little bit, it'll help the product really pop. And then if we go up here to collections and we click on candle collection, what I would recommend is to shorten up this candle collection description, because this reads more as something that you'd find in the actual product listing. You don't want to crowd the space too much because you got to scroll down quite a bit to actually get down to the products. Also, quick note here, I was unsure if you knew that a couple of your candles didn't have listing photos to them. I don't know if that was a mistake, that just the photos didn't get added there, but I wanted to let you know about that. But in terms of the actual description for the collections page, I would keep it really minimal, maybe 1 to 2 sentences, just getting in those SEO keywords in there, but not having it be as descriptive as a product listing. I'm really fighting the sun today, guys. Sorry, I keep getting brighter and darker throughout this video. It is what it is on a cloudy day. So something else that I would highly recommend is to have some kind of announcement in the announcement bar. So welcoming people to the store is great, but you also want to utilize this section right here to tell your leads that are on your website, which are the potential customers that are viewing and shopping your website in the moment, to let them know anything that they need to know that would encourage them to purchase. So whether or not you offer free shipping, you offer a flat rate shipping, you're doing a discount, you have new products. This is really the area where you can catch people's attention and let them know exactly what is a benefit right away and would encourage them to make a purchase. Something else that I wanted to mention is this section right here. So this is called the hero section, and it's considered to be the above the fold section on the website because it's exactly what people see as soon as they get on your website. So right here, this is the main page that people see when they get on the website before they scroll down. So something that I had noticed actually was that this photo right here, I wasn't able to find any products that you could actually purchase this. I'm not sure if this is for sale or if this was just kind of a one-time product that you had made for the holidays, but it wasn't actually something that I was able to find for sale. And also this reads more of like a product listing. So this would be something that would be more of in the middle of the homepage here. So this is the whole homepage. So it would be more of something that would be, let's say down here, like a featured product. But right here, this is the hero section. This is where you give a call to action. You're speaking directly to your ideal customer. This is where you take your candles that you have, you get them photographed in like a rustic cabin, and you really get that vibe, you really get that experience, get that emotional reaction out of the potential customers that come to your website. So the hero section is really an area that's supposed to let the customers know who you are, what you sell, why they should care, and you're talking directly to that ideal customer. So in this section right here, I would definitely look into having some kind of lifestyle product photography, giving them a direct call to action to shop your products. If you have a specific candle line that you're wanting them to shop in the moment, you know, it's holiday time right now, so if that's something you're really wanting them to shop in the moment, then you would put that on this section. But the hero section is really important to be able to capture that attention right away and let people know if your products are really for them and if they should keep shopping. So now let's move on to website number 2. So this website is madebymichellecandles.com. So I do like the overall simplistic vibe. I get a little bit of that, you know, minimalistic, earthy vibe, a little bit of the coziness from the blanket behind the candles. And I do like the product photography to showcase the products. Now, in terms of the things that I would recommend in order to improve the product listings just a little bit would be to actually change up the titles. So with the title being cheese mold, I know that that is referring to the type of wooden bowl, wooden mold that's behind it. But in terms of optimizing the SEO on your website, I would definitely recommend to have soy candle, because I do see that you have soy candles. So I would recommend to have soy candle in the title and then also the sizing. Something else that I had noticed was that you do have quite a lot of scent variations on your website. And from a consumer perspective, from somebody who is shopping, it may be just a tad overwhelming when there's so many different options in one listing. Now, I do see that you do go to craft shows and you have your live events. So with this being up here in the navigation menu, that tells me that that is a prominent part of your business. So what I would recommend is when you're at your markets to test and really see which scents sell the best. That's where you're going to get that immediate feedback, and then you can really narrow in on the scents that you offer, because I do think that probably about 20% of the scents are really your best sellers and 80% not so much. That is a very standard and common thing among businesses, is they find that 20% of their products are actually making them 80% of their sales. So I would just really take an overview, do an audit of all of your scents, and really ask yourself, what are my top performers, and really hone in on those ones. And then what I would recommend is actually to create a listing for all of the scents that you really want to keep in your collection. And then you're able to create a listing for all of them and have the scents in the name. Because when people are shopping on a candle brand website, they're going to be looking up scents. So they're going to be trying to see, okay, what scents am I wanting? Not necessarily looking at the container. The scents are definitely top priority over the container that they come in for most candle consumers. But I think creating a candle listing for all the scents that you really know are your top sellers is going to make your website look a lot more full. When you look at your craft show booth, it looks like you got a lot going on. But when you look at your website, it looks like you only have a few products for sale when really you have a lot more products for sale. Then you'll be able to do different categories if you want to categorize it by scents or whatever it is. You're able to really showcase that. And again, putting the size, because right now I don't believe there is a size on here. So it's hard to tell from a consumer perspective how big the product actually is going to be. And the last suggestion that I do have is I am a big proponent of building an email list and collecting leads from every single person who comes onto your website. And I believe this is something that I would recommend to all 3 of the websites that I'm going to be reviewing, is to utilize a pop-up on your website to collect emails in exchange for giving them a discount. So you can give them a discount of 10 or 15% off of their order, which helps push them in the direction of making a sale, but you also get to collect an email address in exchange so that you can send out emails to hopefully have them be a lifelong customer and keep them buying from you again and again. Let's go over the 3rd website in today's review, which is birdycandles.com. So the logo itself is awesome, really cool. I read the story behind your brand. I think it's awesome. It's a really cool concept. You have a very clear call to action. You know it's candles. You know who it's for. You have a clear niche. You have a very strong hero section right here at the top. Again, just like the other websites, I would recommend to have a lead magnet so you can collect those emails. And then in terms of some things that I would recommend to improve just a little bit, specifically with your product listings. So if I'm clicking on here, I feel like the dimensions are just a little off. I feel like you can crop it down and really be able to showcase the product. Now, I know that over here, when you're showcasing this, you have kind of that bird cage style, which I think is very clever when showcasing your products. So that may change things up, but this is just my personal opinion, is to try to have your product photography be a little bit more cohesive when showcasing your products, because right now some of them are kind of down below, off to the side, over here. And I feel like if you have more of a cohesion on where the products are on the product listing, that it'll be easier for the viewer to kind of have them guide through the products and look at everything, than kind of be, up and down, looking at kind of the different, almost different sizes. Some of them might be a little bit further away. Some of them are a little bit closer up. So that is my suggestion in terms of product photography. And then I would also recommend to maybe brighten some things up. You have a great foundation with a lot of these photos. If you crop this down to like a 3x4 dimension and you brightened it up just a little bit, you did the same thing with this one, it would really showcase your product and kind of highlight it a little bit more, make it stand out from, the more grayish background. Obviously you don't want to brighten it up too much to where it's, overexposed, but just taking it up just a little bit, because you really do have a great foundation with your product photography. I just feel like the dimensions of it being this really long rectangle is not doing justice for the product itself. But again, I know that probably the main reason why you have that is because you're able to have this really cool kind of bird cage style. So you can play around with the dimensions, see if it's something you feel is going to work well with your website. And then a few other things that I wanted to note. One is on the product listing is to add in the size of the candle. So I don't see a size on the label, and then I don't see a size in the description. So definitely add in the size. If it's a 6-ounce candle, 8-ounce candle, 10-ounce candle, it's hard to really tell how big the candle is in the photos. Oh, and then one last thing is to add in a shipping policy page and a terms of service. So you're good with the privacy policy, you have the contact page, refund. I would recommend having a shipping policy page as well as a terms of service. I just want to say a huge thank you to these 3 business owners who very bravely submitted their candles to be reviewed on the website. And I just appreciate you so much. I really hope that you got some valuable feedback. And I really hope that you watching also got some valuable feedback that you could also implement on your own website. If you're curious and you want to be featured on one of my Shopify reviews, I will have that form linked down below. If you would prefer to do a private review, I also have that available as well to purchase, and I'll have that down below. But with that, I'm going to end today's video right here, and I will see you in the next one.